our friend Honorable Farooq Hamid Naik, President Chairman of the Senate of Pakistan, to report on the second session.
Thank you. Fellow parliamentarians, ladies and gentlemen, I would not take much time in briefing you on the second session on youth participation in the democratic process, challenges and opportunities. Importance of youth as agents of change, prospective leaders and decision makers was emphasized by almost every participant. Issue at hand was how to ensure effective participation of youth and how to rethink concept and modalities of participation of youth in the democratic process. In some parts of the world, participation of youth in elections and political parties is declining. And in some other countries, youth is at the forefront of political reforms. In both cases, reintegration of youth in economic and social and political activity would be useful. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to the problems faced by the youth. It was pointed out by many delegations that social and political behavior is not linear as it varies in time and space. Problems are different in developed and developing countries, and different needs and levels of problems require different solutions. In order to find workable solutions to problems which different countries are facing, political leaders must not only involve young in the decision-making process, but they must also build partnerships with the young. Various delegations pointed out different ways of building these partnerships of parliamentarians with youth. Example, student unions, Facebook, Twitter, and giving a concrete evidence by oversight performance that the participation in politics can make difference to their societies. Establishment of youth parliaments as nurseries of future parliamentarians was a very interesting and far-reaching idea forwarded by some delegates. It was also acknowledged that electronic media, particularly TV channels, exclusively focusing on enhancing participation of youth in political life would go a long way in improving quality of democratic process in many of our countries. The discussions raised a number of practical steps that can be taken to increase traditional forms of political participation among the youth. It was suggested that compulsory voting may encourage young to be more involved in politics. Parliamentary quota system is yet another way of increasing number of young MPs, which in turn may lead to greater motivation among the young to be involved, seeing that Parliament is not only responsive but also accessible. However, it was noted that Parliament as an institution is not the most appropriate platform for change, but that young participation must start within parties to create a different political culture. However, to achieve greater involvement of the young, it is not enough to just open doors to them and invite them into existing processes. As long as institutions that lack to the exclusion of the young remain in place, political inclusion will remain nothing but a token and cannot lead to real change. Political leaders need to step outside the given framework and learn to understand the language and processes that are used by the young. Practical steps that were suggested were e-voting for MPs to use blogs to communicate with their constituents and especially the young more effectively. Politicians must focus on those issues which are of interest to youth. Politicians must visit colleges and hold discussion and participate in citizen education programs. Change should come through power of ballot and not through violence. Many delegations emphasize the importance of expectation management of youth also. The provisions of employment and giving a sense of social justice to youth would make their contribution more credible, practicable, and useful. Many speakers pointed out that creation of trust of youth in the system was very important. If they could see that the existing system was not only responsive to their demands, but also accountable to them as citizens, it would go a long way in reintegrating them into decisions making at local and national levels. In the end, I must say, second session on challenges and opportunities for youth participation in the democratic process was very productive in terms of proposals presented during it, and it was timely in terms of changes sweeping across the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman.